Starting. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm meeting with Cheryl Proctor-Rodgers, who is a PR and business strategist and an executive coach. And for my first question, I was just going to ask you to give me just some background info on that and like how you got into coaching.
Yes, this is my 40th year in public relations, and you cannot implement a public relations strategy without coaching the executives and the managers who are working on the campaign that you're designing and implementing. So I pretty much started my career also coaching executives.
Have a coach or mentor when you were growing up or starting to get into the professional world?
Yes, I was lucky when I first, about 3 years into the profession, I met Chester Berger at an event, and he was my mentor throughout my career until his death a couple of years ago. And I also had a female mentor that had nothing to do with public relations, but was a senior member of my sorority, and she taught me business decorum, how to dress for success, and some other things. So I've always had several mentors, and also I have a group of what I can call peer mentors.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so do you think having a mentor should be is like an important aspect for everyone to have?
Absolutely. Having a mentor as part of your personal cabinet is critical to your success. I can't imagine how I would have been able to achieve everything I could. Probably more so with my peer mentors because when you're dealing with day-to-day issues, you're not calling your professional mentors every day or every week to talk about little day-to-day things. I
Mhm.
worked with my mentors on major decisions that I was making in my career, or if I was having some challenges in the workplace.
Mhm. Okay, that makes sense. And so who would you say has been like the most influential person in your life?
My parents,
Okay, and why?
because of their support and their um, not only support of anything that I wanted to do, but providing the environment for learning.
Mhm. Okay. And so kind of moving on, what would you say is a piece of advice that you would give to a young Black woman like myself when getting into the professional world?
I think the first thing is to, of course, have some mentors, be focused on what your passion is, and make sure you're an expert in that by investing at least 20 minutes a week in really learning more about the broader industry
Mm-hmm.
or sector that you have an interest in. Also, making sure that you have a plan, a career plan that's actually written out, and you
Yeah.
can model it on a business plan. And those, of course, are available online where you can actually go in um, and create that kind of plan. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's also important to be part of a larger community. And so being a member, an active member, either in your profession or in your sector. So, for instance, in public relations, I was a member of the Public Relations Society of America, the Publicity Club of Los Angeles, as well as I was in a PR group that was made up of individuals that were in the insurance industry.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then could you tell me about this will be our last question. Could you tell me about a time when you had like a major or minor setback and what steps did you take to overcome that?
Well, one of the things that I learned from my parents is to always have a B, and C plan. So, anytime I did hit a speed bump, it was for just minutes, um, and rarely even days, because I had already considered A, B, and C plans and thinking about all of the possible outcomes and not just the outcome that I wanted, and to be able to pretty much bounce back, and especially with the help of a mentor and peer mentors and having a plan, um, that is always helpful when you do have speed bumps.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, thank you so much for all your advice. I really appreciate you taking the time to just talk with me and give me advice because, it's during these hard times, it's always good to have a little bit of coaching and mentorship. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, what makes it hurt?
Just like with everything going on in the world and being a college student, being a young Black student, it's just always nice to hear from someone who is in the same field as you and whose footsteps you can follow.
Okay. Are you familiar with the book Diverse Voices?
No, I'm not.
It's a book you might find very interesting. It's called Diverse Voices. It's got another subtitle. Let's
Mhm.
see. A Profiles in Leadership.
Mhm.
And the forward is by Harold Burson. And it actually includes 40 um, public relations professionals that are people of color and their stories and how they got into PR. So
Mhm.
you'll get an opportunity to be inspired by a lot of different pathways.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you. That was really helpful. I'm definitely going to check that out.
All right. So, what's your aspirations?
My aspirations, I really enjoy writing and telling stories in general just because of where I come from and just showing like if I think that if I tell my story, then it'll encourage people to feel like they can like come from anywhere and still be able to follow their dreams. And I just feel like hearing other people's stories motivates you to do better, even if it's not like a tragedy story. Just hearing other perspectives just give you a different outlook on life. So that's what I really enjoy: writing, telling stories, telling other people's stories, stuff like that.
And so, what do you plan to actually do as it relates to work?
hmm So, like right now, I'm an intern for Germiner and Associates, and I mean that's a PR agency. Hopefully, I will get a job in PR after college. So anything with PR, anything, because even though PR isn't exactly like writing, it's very flexible and it includes writing in it. Like in my internship right now, like I get a lot of opportunities to write articles and get the chance to interview with professionals like you and just expanding my brand. And I feel like that's really helpful. So if I'm in PR, that's something I would really like to do too.
Okay, great.
hmm
So, do you have any other questions of me before we end the call?
Um, I don't think so. I think that was it. I think you were really helpful and it was just really nice having a conversation.
Okay, great. Well, I'm glad that Leanne introduced us.
Me
And
too.
so keep in touch and let me know how things are going.
I definitely will. Thank you so much.
Take care now.
You too.